Hi there, I'm Dr. Noelle Nelson, and it's my pleasure to share a few thoughts with you today, some uplifting, inspiring, and practical tips to help you find greater happiness and success in your life. Today's topic, more on the positive power of response. In other words, the positive power of response, part 2. You ever notice how much time and energy you spend trying to figure out what someone else is thinking? Ever notice how often the conclusion you draw is negative? For example, oh dear, he looked at me funny. I'll bet he thinks I'm ugly. Or, she's late again. She's probably out flirting. Or worse, she doesn't care about me at all. Or, he's never at his work when I call and text. Maybe he doesn't really have a job. Then perhaps your new love hasn't called or texted or reached out for 3 days. You're worried sick. You've analyzed the last time you saw each other 100 times. You figure, that's it. It's over. You were such a stupid idiot, or too clingy, or too assertive. You probably drove them off. Whenever someone does something you didn't expect, you feel out of control. It's difficult to stay in that place of out of control. Makes most of us very nervous. So what we do is try to reestablish some kind of control by jumping to a conclusion, usually damaging to our self-esteem. Sigh. Deciding that you know why your true love hasn't called in 3 days may be painful, but it does bring back a sense of predictability and control to your personal universe. But feeling in control at the expense of your self-esteem? I'm sorry, that isn't worth it. There is a way to feel both in control and maintain good self-esteem. First of all, be willing to live with several possible conclusions as to what might be going on. Number 2, make sure at least some of those conclusions are not negative, thank you. And thirdly, regain control by determining your response to each of the possible conclusions, rather than trying to pinpoint the correct conclusion, which is impossible anyway. For example, your new love hasn't reached out to you in 3 days. You come up with the following possible conclusions. Number 1, they're preoccupied with work and trust that your relationship is strong enough to withstand a few days of no contact. Number 2, they're embarrassed about their own behavior during your last encounter and they need some time to get past that. Or number 3, they've met someone new and their history. Now notice, there's 2 positives and 1 negative in these possibilities, and you could dream up a lot more, I'm sure. So remain open to all of these. Don't try to figure out which one is right. Regain a feeling of control by figuring out how you would like to respond to each one of them. Once you know how you are going to respond, you're in control regardless of the actual outcome. You can't control things or people by setting them in cement. Everything changes all of the time, even if only in apparently small ways. Something is always bound to happen that will impact what seemed to be an absolutely fixed quantity in your world. You can, however, choose your response to things and people. Even if that does not give you control over them, it certainly gives you an in-control, high-esteem way of dealing with your world. Thank you for listening to Up, and check out my new book, Phoenix Rising, Surviving Catastrophic Loss, Fires, Floods, Hurricanes, and Tornadoes. If you'd like more uplifting, inspiring, practical tips and techniques, please visit my website, noellenelson.com, or take a look at my Meet the Amazings Facebook page. Until next time, be well and take care.